So there has been lots of discussion recently about whether GTA 6 might actually get another delay. Now, of course, most of this is just Twitter slop and accounts like GTA 6 Countdown and the rest of them just trying to generate engagement without actually giving you any official news. It's been actually quite difficult to find something that is genuine and reliable and not just content that is obviously made to just basically get engagement and likes. If you're on Twitter like me, you're probably familiar with many of the accounts that sort of circulate the overall GTA 6 sphere. Now, on the good side, I am chronically online and I'm quite up to date on all of the actual information that is reliable and seem to be consistent with history in terms of like Take Two and Rockstar in general as well. So I'm going to be laying out several reasons as to why the game is quite unlikely to actually get delayed again. And there is some substantial evidence, and we'll be going through it. So we are 17 days away right now from the 6th of November. Now the date is not obviously expected when the trailer 3 is going to drop or anything, but that is the date for the next Take-Two Interactive Earnings call. When that happens, generally the silence becomes much more difficult to ignore than if it were just the fans, because this time it's really more to do with the investors. Take-Two earnings call did not obviously reveal events, they are financial meetings, but Rockstar has a long history of sort of speaking just before them. That way, when the call happens, Take-Two can also then repeat it confidently to their shareholders. This is exactly what happened with Trailer 1. Sam Hauser announced it, then the call actually took place a few hours later. Now, this only sort of reinforces previous beliefs about this because this isn't the first or the last time that it's actually going to happen. So, if something is going on and is going to happen soon, then the much more likely sort of event is that it's going to happen just before the 6th of November. The time between right now, today, as this is going live, and sort of the 6th of November, this is actually like the best time that you can sort of expect something to actually take place and happen. Now, there is another layer to this. We're going obviously from November to December. So this is the strongest commercial period of the year. Generally speaking, console sales tend to rise, the digital storefront activity is much higher as well, and people overall tend to spend much more time online. Now, if Rockstar plans to start pre-orders for the game, it makes much more sense, financial sense, just to do it before Christmas, obviously. Now, to do that, they would need obviously one last final trailer or an announcement to make the start of the commercial rollout. Now, throughout this, the whole marketing strategy has been sort of inconsistent. It's really been super unpredictable, but this is hopefully the last thing they can do to actually make it somewhat make sense. So obviously the release day has been set with a full date, with a day, a month, and a year. The game has already been delayed publicly once from its original 2025 target. Internally, if you've been keeping up, it's been rumored that it's been pushed back twice from 2024 to 2025, and I believe as well earlier from 2023 to 2024. Now, by announcing the fixed date, they've basically moved it past the flexible planning stage. So a specific day means manufacturing schedules, digital listings, certification process, and an overall global marketing plans designed to build all around that time. It also explains why this timing, just right before the earnings call, is actually important. So the investors will want to know whether obviously the game is still on track. Now, if Rockstar remains silent, Take-Two will answer the same way they've done before. However, if Rockstar does decide to go ahead and actually drop something, then the most rational sort of period that we have is sort of the next coming days before obviously the financial question is raised. This doesn't obviously guarantee anything, but it just explains why this period actually matters and why it's so important. We're really close to the point where the silence just really becomes a decision rather than just sort of a delay tactic. Now, I don't think we need to worry just yet because we're still sort of in that early stage and we still have the investors call coming up as well. But in my opinion, I think if they skip this month, November and December, then I don't really see this going anywhere good, because then again it's going to be really cramped, quite similar to prior to sort of Trailer 2, when everyone was still thinking that GTA was going to be released in 2025 and they hadn't really said anything. Then they dropped the delay announcement. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen again, but we still have the gameplay trailer and the GTA Online trailer to drop as well. Now, obviously, nothing happens. I don't want it to happen. My bet is somewhere between tomorrow, maybe today, and obviously just right before the 6th of November. Who the hell knows? And also, just one last thing with this 6th of November call, now it's going to be quite important because we really need to pay attention to the language that's going to be used. If they still obviously still feel confident about it, they might reinforce the same date that they've already given. However, if their language sort of becomes more vague and it starts to sound a little more certain, and that's how you use different phrases like "we'll work in hard" or "we'll update when it's appropriate," the kind of corporate language that they use, which sort of basically translates to "this shit ain't happening." Hopefully, it's gonna be a little more optimistic than that. But the reason I bring it up is because this is something we've seen before. So just months before the first delay took place, there was you had Strauss Zelnick and Take Two Interactive. There was a call where they're openly talking about the original release window, and then the investors call right before the delay. There was sort of a change of a tone, and then they stopped sounding so sure about it. There was this one particular clip that sort of did the rounds on Twitter where you had Strauss Zelnick basically saying that he was really confident about the date that was 2025, and that's gonna, all the usual stuff that he says. So whether he does reinforce the date, it can be good if it's gonna be still 2026. But I think it more has to do with sort of the less confident phrasing. That's the one that's going to be actually important, because if he does sound less confident, in my opinion, I think there's much more weight to that than if he were to say, yes, it's still going to be on the released at the given date, because we don't really know if it's still going to be on track. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.